I'm 1 minute late, my apologies, but it's travel day, so just kind of packing up around the hotel room, getting ready to head back to Central Florida. Rise and shine, my friends. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, just about, and chat about what's going on in the world of weather. Nice and dark and early at 8 o'clock in the morning. Top two things that we are monitoring today on a Friday. Of course, looking ahead to showers and thunder showers. They're going to be developing, and we're going to be timing them out using Futurecast, helping you plan your Friday. We're also going to be looking to the weekend, and poor puppy, it's the dog days of summer. We have just been sitting in that heat. How long does this heat last? I know it's summer, right? But we're well above average. So we'll talk about that. And of course, we'll eyeball the tropics and see what's doing out there as we gradually work toward the peak of hurricane season. But before all of that, let's just look outside. Beautiful start to the day here on our downtown Orlando tower cam. Mix of clouds and sunshine there. You can see a couple of clouds off on the right side. There's the 111 building in the foreground, 55 West, the Solaire, and then of course off in the tourist district it's a little hazy, but that's to be expected. We've got that moisture, that humidity just trapped here at the surface. Temperature wise, we are in the upper 70s, lower 80s, and peekaboo on our first morning live Doppler radar. We do have some rain. It's not impacting us necessarily, but if we move over to Brevard County, you can very clearly see those showers and even thunder showers kind of bubbling up. They're definitely impacting our friends along the Treasure Coast, so Indian River, St. Lucie counties. If your travels do take you that direction, do have a little bit of rain showing up, but nothing too bad. So yeah, not a bad one. Shouldn't you be at the airport? The flight is at noon, so I've got the Uber is going to come pick me up at 8:30. I'll get there at about 9, or at about 8:45. I'll get there at about 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. That gives me 2.5 hours. So I thought a little more about the timing, and I was like, yeah, that should work, right? All right. So where do we go from here? Let's take a look at our all-important 12-hour forecast. This morning, we do have those offshore downpours. They should stay offshore, but looking to lunchtime and beyond, we're going to be popcorning up some rain, and do look for a higher coverage of showers and thunder showers today versus what we've had these last couple of days. It's not going to be terrible, but there is going to be some more rains, and Futurecast is doing a great job of keying in on that. Jessica, good morning to you. How are you? Juan Carlos, good morning to you. Jessica says, all those tropical waves, not a name to be found. Oh, we're going to talk the tropics here in just a couple of minutes' time. Anne Marie, good morning to you. Frankie, good morning to you. I knew when I stepped out of the airport in Sanford and the humidity hit me that I was home in Florida. Yeah, Janice, that's correct. Oh, yeah. Nancy, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Judy, good morning to you. This is the first time this week. I missed you. Judy, well, good morning. I'm glad that you're here with us. Remember, real life is more important than coffee talk. I love having you here when you can make it. When you can't make it, just don't come, right? All right, let's take a look at Futurecast and zero in on things. First off, this morning, no surprise, we are nice and we are quiet. Now, let's take you through time here. Excuse me. By about 11, 12 o'clock, we start to see the sea breeze on the west coast bubbling up, right? By about 1, 2 o'clock, we're going to start to watch the popcorning of those showers widespread. This is where I get a little worried because my flight is scheduled to arrive in Orlando at like 3 and change in that vicinity. And well, let's just hope. Let's just hope that it goes well. Let's just hope that the weather can avoid Orlando International Airport's airspace. That's all I'm hoping for. All right, so 2 p.m. Let's continue. 3, 4 o'clock. You start to see those showers and thunder showers developing a little more intense. Yeah, that just goes without saying, right? So, yeah. Carolyn, how's the humidity been in Andover? You know, the humidity's been fine for me. It's been a little lower than Central Florida. Dew points in the 60s and 70s instead of the 70s. So I've enjoyed it, but it's definitely been closer to Florida humidity than I think most of the other guests are used to. Yeah. Michelle, anytime I go anywhere else, my allergies remind me why I need to stay in Florida. And that's just the case, man. I'm an allergy sufferer in the worst way. Put me in a bubble, baby. That's where I'm at. Oh, John, David, thank you. We're blessed with the hardest working weather guy in the business. Thank you very much. Thank you. Seriously, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Hey, Coffee Talk friends, please lift up our friend. Uh-oh, I hope everything's okay, Susie. Anne Marie says, praying for a non delayed safe flight. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, Judy, I'm coming back to Florida today, and the kids ended up having vaccinations. So, it works out that I can surprise them after the vaccinations. So, good times. Thank you, Arnett. I appreciate it very much. Ashley, good morning to you. Jackie, good morning to you. All right, so that's Futurecast 4 p.m. Let's continue through. There's where the big storms arrive, about 5:30, 6 o'clock. You know Manalfi is going to be tracking plenty of storms in that time frame. And then it all gradually returns back over to the West Coast before fading. So overall, today is going to be a bit stormier than we've seen these last couple of days. It's not that it's going to limit our heat much. I mean, it's still going to be a hot day in Central Florida. Take a look at the temperatures across town. 96 in the city, average high on the top of your screen there, 92 degrees. That's as high as our average ever gets, and we're going to get there, right? And then some. 93 this afternoon. That's going to be our forecast high temperature in Christmas. 95 degrees in Sanford, 91 in Daytona Beach, 91 degrees in Palm Coast. So temperatures definitely staying above average, but we are going to kind of make some adjustments over these next couple of days as we reset, so to speak, our rain chances. Let's just take a look at the 7-day forecast. And of course, we can take a deeper dive. But watch how as those rain chances go up Monday, we're going to start to bring those temperatures. And then we get hot again next week. What we need is just a big boatload of moisture, right? I mean, let's just be honest. That average high of 92, we're far surpassing that average high of 92 each day. So, yeah. Good times. What about feels like temperatures, right? We've got to deal with that. Once again today, no surprise, we're back into the triple digits. I think that the rain is going to help us a little bit. The clouds are going to help us a little bit, but we're back into that extreme caution range when it comes to the feels like temperature. So be careful, my friends, if you're heading on out. Overall rain coverage, the further west you live, the better it looks for you, right? 50-50 shot across the metro area, 60% coverage because you get that kind of initial push and then the push back in the afternoon. The beaches, you're looking to be the driest communities, so plan accordingly for that, okay? And, I always talk about this anytime we're talking about rain chances. Just watch, right? Because if you're playing golf, keep your eye to the sky. Keep your ears open. Don't think that thunderstorms are just one of those things, we'll just play through. Because the last couple of days, we have gotten reports of many lightning strikes across the southeastern United States. Now, this year thus far, knock on wood, there have not been any lightning fatalities in Central Florida, but there have been over the last couple of days. We went from 5 fatalities in the country to 7, this week. This month does tend to be the deadliest when it comes to lightning fatalities. Now, I know it sounds like, well, duh, Burris, we're in Florida after all, but I just want to make sure that we're clear on this. It's cheesy, the saying goes, but it's so vital. When the thunder roars, head indoors. It's so cheesy. I know. Your Wesh 2 mobile app, by the way, speaking of that, I have to tell you, but your Wesh 2 mobile app does send those push notifications when there's lightning in the vicinity and when there's rain in the vicinity. Now, you've heard me talk about it, and I'll do our shameless plug just because it brings me up to a question and answer session that we had yesterday. But the Wesh 2 mobile app, you can download it, turn on the alerts. I learned a lot about our app. I understood a lot, right, in working with it, but I had the chief developer for the weather section of our app because we use this vendor that I'm up visiting. So, couple of things. First off, we had an open question and answer session yesterday, and I asked him about the velocity. I said, I know it sounds silly, but we've got our live first warning Doppler radar feeding into the app. How hard is it to get the velocity moment? And they all kind of looked around and they were like, shouldn't be that hard. So I'm not going to promise that it's happening, but when I asked, they they took notes and they're like, yeah, yeah, we should. So hopefully you'll be able to get velocity off of our first warning live Doppler radar soon. Wouldn't that be fun? I like it. Janice says, Eric the Bubble Boy. I'm serious. Like, within an hour of getting here, it just started. So, yeah. It is what it is. Let's see here. Safe travels today. Peggy, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let me just get through all these. Yeah, this is ridiculous. Hi, thank goodness for air conditioning. Oh, it's so true. There's a lot of places up here that don't have air conditioning, I've learned. Like, we went out last night, a group of us. Craig Setzer, who's a meteorologist, former chief meteorologist in Miami. He and I grabbed a bite to eat with a meteorologist from Kansas last night. We went to this Irish pub, which, ooh, so good. But they didn't have air conditioning, And it's like, for a Florida guy, I'm like, well, this is crazy. This is just wild. So, yeah. Debbie says we had 2 strikes Tuesday in New Smyrna Beach, and one person is reported to be very critical. Seriously, I know it's a shameless plug, but like, I have put work into this, so I don't mind throwing the shameless plug. Like, download the WESH 2 app. It'll send push notifications, and they were talking a lot about... they're talking a lot about development kind of path ahead and all of that. So it's really great stuff. It really is a great tool. I use it on my phone. And what's kind of cool is I was up here and like it let me know when there was a tornado warning yesterday right next to Andover where I'm located. So it was like, oh, I guess the WESH app is working there as well. Do you feel that you learned quite a bit from your conference? Yes, Bob. And I also learned, and we'll talk about that and then we can get into the tropics, of course. I also learned the product roadmap for our graphics system, which, there was so much that we went over. So it was great, from scrubbing APIs, like my personal weather station at home. I learned how to grab the data, bring that into the weather system, but also like how they're using artificial intelligence to kind of help curate things on our Very Local platform in the future, which, if you don't know, Very Local is the Hearst Television OTT, over-the-top Roku Fire Stick solution. Check it out if you've never done it. Anyway, enough about all that. All right, we've got a rocket launch, Starlink. 80% chance of good weather for this one. That is on Sunday morning. Launch window opens up at 8:09 in the morning. All right. Can you incorporate that rain chance by location graphic into your daily info? That rain chance by location. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. There are some days where, honest to God, it just doesn't make a benefit, but there are some days where it does. So, yeah. The inspector we use has been struck twice. Seriously? Good gravy. Go inside when there's lightning. Like, that's it. No life is worth it. If he's been struck twice, I mean, go buy a lottery ticket. Okay, let's talk tropics, my friend. Eventually this is going to stop. Eventually we are going to have stuff to track. But for right now, tracking the tropics, there is no development expected. There are areas of moisture coming off of the coast of Africa. Just found out yesterday that the Air Force hurricane hunters are sending out a WC-130 to the Cabo Verde Islands to study and start scanning Eastern Atlantic systems this year. In the 22 years that I've followed weather, I don't believe we've ever had Eastern Atlantic missions. So that's going to be ridiculously cool. Recon missions way out there. That will be ridiculously cool. So anyway, that's that. Saharan dust is still absolutely dominating. You can see it just blanketing the entire area. If we kind of just loop this forward, watch how its next wave of dust moves into our area by the model stops, but it will be mid next week. Okay, now that said, models are starting to hint at some stuff happening. Let's just let's do this. Let's do the Atlantic Basin. All right, this is the GFS. Okay, all right, GFS Atlantic Basin. Let's just take a look. This is the most recent, the 6Z run. Let's just roll through time here. Some moisture out over the open Atlantic, but nothing that wants to get going. The thing that we really have to watch for The Pacific has to quiet down. If you want tropical Atlantic in the tropical activity in the Atlantic, the Pacific has to quiet down. The Pacific is still rocking and rolling, and until that stops, we're just not going to be getting anything going over in the Atlantic basin. But let's just roll through and just see. You see where it says Friday there in the very bottom left corner? That is something of a tropical system. Where it says Orlando bottom left corner, there's something in the Pacific there. So that's, that's still rocking and rolling there. Now there is something working there across the open Atlantic. You can see that blue and green blob. July 29th. Not much, kind of weakening as it approaches the Caribbean islands, but there's a little bit of an anomalously lower area of pressure working toward Cuba. That's August 2nd, right? Not really much. Continuing to be nice and quiet. Yep, nice and quiet. Now, there's a couple areas of interest, but it's just nothing that seems to be notable, really and truly. That said, let's switch over. Let's look at, yesterday we looked at the European ensembles, and I want to look at the European ensembles again and just see, because they started to kind of show something. We'll look at the GFS ensembles as well. But let's just roll through time here. You can kind of see it's trying to do something in the open Atlantic there, right where it says forecast high 95. There's a little dot above it, a little something perhaps there. A little something there, continuing through. You can see there in the Gulf and the Caribbean. Let me switch views over to the Gulf of Mexico view. This is August 2nd. It's starting to hint at something. And remember that the recycle of Alex / potential tropical cyclone 1, that is around August 5th through the 10th. And you're starting to see indicators there on the ensembles of something in that vicinity, right? Is it early? Is it the right location? Certainly, it's just too early to tell. But, to me, when you start having ensembles sniffing something out, you look to the LRC to see where that ties in, and that's definitely in that time frame. It's a little early, but we know that the LRC gives us, just like computer models, it gives us guidance. It's not gospel, but it gives us kind of broad information. So we use it to kind of benefit us that way. Yeah, so that's interesting. So that's early in August. That's August 6th, for example, on the screen there. So we'll see how that plays out, right? Questions, comments, concerns? Anybody? Facebook keeps freezing. So much for listening mode. I'm sorry, guys. Any questions, comments, concerns about the tropical stuff? I'm just kind of looking through to see if we've got anything here. Hasn't rained in Eustis in a few days. Yeah, rain chances did go down, so we're starting to go up. Yeah. Anybody? Anything? Otherwise, it's fine. We can wrap this puppy a little early. That's fine with me. It'll definitely be something that we need to watch, right? Just like everything else this time of year, we just have to watch the tropics, see what happens. But meanwhile, back here at home, we're just kind of watching that rain chance. 40 to 50% coverage, that's normal for us. So we're in that vicinity. We're going to be hanging out right where we should be rain chance-wise. The 30% coverage has kind of gone away a little bit. We're back to a more decent opportunity for rainfall. Yeah. Mark says, no concerns, but fascinating. Hey, that's it. Just have to study it. Debbie says, have safe travels home. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a great trip home, Eric. Thank you very much, Kenneth. I appreciate it. Sabirs, how about the BSR? I'll have to take a look at that. I haven't, and I'm not set up to do that. Actually, I can. Bear with me a second. Give me a few seconds. Loading. Remind me later. BSR. It's loading. Oh, that's weather bill. Okay, hold on. All right, give me a second to. Does that work? No, that doesn't. All right, give me 2 seconds. Let me get this. Let me get this moved over for you. Bear with me. Okay. All right, so let's just watch this and see kind of, does it have anything? Da, da, da. Yeah, I mean, there, maybe, that little thing. I don't know. Maybe that little thing there. Let's look at the upper level stuff. That. Maybe that in that vicinity, right? When does that time out? You see that low though over near Texas? Like that's something interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's, I'm going to need to take time to analyze that. And I'm, if I'm honest, I'm heading to the hotel here or to the airport in a couple minutes. So I'm not going to do that now. But that give me something to do on the airplane. So there's that. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns? It's freezing on YouTube. I apologize. The internet at this hotel has not been great. Yeah. I'm trying. Why, if Atlantic quiet, Pacific active? Because the Madden-Julian oscillation favors one versus another. So when it goes into phase in the Atlantic, it shuts off the Pacific and vice versa. So I apologize for the issues, but here we are. It is what it is. All right, be the sunshine in someone else's day. I will see you guys and gals later on. Of course, Coffee Talk tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And yeah, I'm off tomorrow. I do work Sunday, and then I'm on vacation. So very cool. All right. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you guys and gals throughout the day today on Twitter and on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and all that stuff for Coffee Talk from Florida tomorrow. Bye.